Hi guys. So last week we talked about the prescription over-the-counter drug. There was like a little review we had, and today I want to move on. So if you have your packet, just continue the notes in there. You do not have to hand in notes ever. If there's a worksheet I have you do, just submit it into Google Classroom, and then I could see your name and who turned it in, and then I can mark it off on my sheet. Okay, that you're participating. If you can't get onto Google Classroom, see if you can email me. If you need to have your parent email me, so at least I know you're getting on, so you're getting the information. Okay. So just follow along with the slideshow and use your notes. If you do not have your packet, that's okay. You can just write the notes on a separate sheet of paper. There's not going to be a worksheet to do to turn in after this. I'm just going to have you do a ticket out, and it's going to be questions on there about if you're confused on something, and I can help clarify. So even though this is a lot of information, it's hard to kind of understand maybe some of the information right today with this stuff. I'll review, and I really want to get into the other types of specifics of drugs today. Okay, so let me just get the presentation up. Okay, so first things before we get started. Okay, so basically now we're going to move into some of the drug categories, and this is going to help you to understand what drugs do to the body. And again, when I say drug, I don't just mean the illegal kinds of drugs. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the whole gamut of drugs, prescription and over-the-counter. So drug prevention classes are very important at a young age. Research is showing that when a child's social and emotional environment changes with new peer groups, it can open them up to drug encounters for the first time. The abuse of prescription and illicit drug abuse is on the rise, and early intervention is key to keeping kids drug-free. Okay, so illegal drugs. All right, so again, you know how my notes are. If you don't have the packet, that's okay. Just, write down what you can, or again, on Google Classroom, the slideshow is going to be up if I'm going too fast, and then you can get the notes down at another time. So using illegal drugs can definitely result in stiff fines, imprisonment, or permanent health damage, and even death. And illegal drugs are made and used purely for their effects. All right, so harmful effects of drug abuse. So on the packet page here, you can just get a couple of those down. You don't have to write all of them down. Some physical effects could be sleeplessness, where a person is not sleeping, and some of the illegal drugs can keep a person awake for days. Irritability, so a person, if they especially are addicted to it, they may get irritable if they're not getting it. Damage to body organs, because everything has to be broken down through the body. So if a person is abusing certain drugs, it can put a lot of weight on the body's organs, including the heart. So heart failure is a big thing. It can cause, especially stimulant drugs, which we're going to talk about today. And we talked about nicotine as one stimulant drug. It increases heart rate, blood pressure, and it can cause that heart attack. Overdose, taking a fatal amount of that drug. All right, so mental emotional health, the harmful effects of drug abuse. Damaged or destroyed brain cells, damaged ability to think, concentrate even, trying to come to school and be emotionally and mentally prepared to remember things, can cause a depression and, of course, suicide. So if a person is using drugs to what's called self-medicate, or think that it's going to make them feel better if they're anxious or if they're sad or if they're going through something, and a friend said, hey, try this, it'll help you, it'll make you feel better. First of all, you should never ever take anything if a friend offers it to you, but it can make things, of course, worse, if not even cause a person to die. Okay, social health, sure, loss of interest in school. Drugs become the number one thing in a person's life, and they don't care when they're addicted to drugs, who they end up hurting or who they pull away from. That could be family and friends. And of course, they're going to hang around with people who abuse drugs because they don't want to be the only ones. They're going to hang around that. How can they get them? Easy way to hide it from their other friends too. They'll pull away from them. And then, of course, risk of being injured in gang-related violence. That again is gang group violence. So if somebody is selling or buying drugs, or somebody knows that they have drugs on them, it could be very dangerous. Okay, what is drug abuse? So we're moved on to number 3 in the packet. Using illegal drugs is a form of drug abuse, and abuse is the use of any drug in a way that is unhealthy or illegal, and a person knows that they are doing it. So using medicine in ways that are not intended is a form of drug abuse, which is different than the drug misuse. If a person is misusing a drug, they may not know that they are taking the wrong dosage. Okay, this is important to know, ways that drugs enter the body. And again, I will say with ways drugs enter the body, drugs, the whole illegal and legal kinds of drugs, prescription, over the counter, and illegal drugs. Okay, so ways drugs enter the body include all of those types of drugs: legal, illegal, prescription, over the counter. Okay, so by mouth is going to be either liquid or pill. It's the slowest. Okay, so liquid version of taking a medication or a drug, or pill. Injection is the fastest, and that's using a syringe. A syringe is a needle. Inhalation, that's going to be through the nose, or inhalation like smoking it. That's really fast as well. And absorption. Absorption can be confusing for people for a method of use, but absorption is usually where it's going to be through a mucous membrane. So if somebody absorbs the drug, it may, for example, be like a medicated cream if they have eczema or psoriasis. It could be like the nicotine patch is an absorption kind of thing. There's an illegal drug out there that is absorbed when it's placed on the tongue. It can enter the body through absorption. It's a slow way. So usually this is not the method of use that a person who is addicted to drugs uses. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 drug categories today, and that's it. Stimulants is the first one, and then depressants is the next one. So on the packet, we're on number 5, stimulants. So stimulants, illegal stimulants include cocaine, tobacco or nicotine, and methamphetamines. Now, cocaine is illegal. Okay, means someone could be arrested for using it or selling it or buying it. Nicotine is legal to purchase or use, or to purchase that, not to use it, over the age of 21. And methamphetamines, they are illegal. Okay, so these are illegal stimulants. Stimulants, drugs that speed up the body's functions. So this is going to increase heart rate, increase blood pressure. This is what stimulants do. So on this slide, it kind of shows what these types of drugs do to the body. Now, a legal stimulant, and it's of course, not as harsh on the body as, for example, cocaine, is caffeine. So we do know that caffeine can increase heart rate, increase blood pressure, but some of the very serious stimulant drugs can definitely cause a person to have heart failure, brain damage, loss of coordination, increase of breathing, which of course can cause even anxiety if somebody, has anxiety disorders. Okay, moving on to the next one. The last one we'll talk about is depressants. So illegal depressants include alcohol. So we talked about alcohol already. Person has to be 21 or over to drink legally or to buy alcohol. Drugs that slow down the body's function, those are depressants. Slows everything down. Certain sleep medications by prescription are depressants, and they can definitely be addictive as well. They could be dangerous. Okay, and the last slide, depressant signs and symptoms decrease. So everything is decreased, decreased breathing, decreased heart rate, causes of loss of coordination, physical collapse, heart failure, and brain damage. So depressants can do a lot, especially shut down breathing. Okay, and when somebody is using alcohol in large amounts, that's where a person can go into a coma and die. All right, so let me click off of this because that's all the slides that we're going to go through today. And I know it's overwhelming sometimes to definitely see a lot of the different types of drug categories, but don't worry, I'm going to go through it again next week and we'll go slow. We'll talk about each drug category. I want you to know the different types of drugs and drug categories. It's very, very important for you to know these things. I don't want you to miss out on this unit because it's so, so important. But I'm hoping that we're back in school soon. I can't wait to see you all. And just make sure after you watch my video, check out the slideshow if I went too fast on the slides. And then please do the exit ticket, which is attached as well. For the other things, like I said, do not have to hand in notes. You do not have to turn it in anywhere. And that's all. So if you need to get a hold of me, email me, have your parents email me. I just want to know that you are checking things out and see how you're doing. Hang in there, guys.